This is the Wrestling Takeover Podcast, and this is the official state of the WWE.
Welcome to...
You're listening to the Wrestling Takeover.
What is your name?
With your host, Jordan Turner, who's always going to keep it real.
Come on, King.
Inside and outside the ring.
Let me make myself clear. He's got the fans behind him, King.
It's time to take over, King.
Are you ready? He's all fired up now, King. The Takeover.
Let's go.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Wrestling Takeover Podcast. This is the most creative and honest podcast in the wrestling space. I'm your host, Jordan Turner, on this Tuesday night, November 18th, 2025. Welcome to the official state of the WWE, where we break everything down from weekly shows, what happened here and there, wrestling opinions, news and rumors. All of that I got y'all covered every Tuesday night on the state of the WWE. And there is a lot of interesting things to get into. There is a lot of opinions that I need to, come out and say. And listen, I personally feel that the WWE product, where we sit today, it's a little rocky to me. It's a little rocky right now. My excitement for War Games, for Survivor Series, is not really there. I'm going to break everything down. Some of the matches that are going to be taking place, I'm going to be giving you guys my, opinions on it. Kind of educate those who, feel differently. Hopefully you guys, agree and see where I'm coming from. So we're going to break down some of these matches. We're going to talk about who I feel should beat John Cena for the Intercontinental title. I know he just got announced that he's going to go one-on-one with Dominic Mysterio. And that's going to be for the IC title. Is Dom going to win the title back? I don't think that should happen, but I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you guys my, ideas that I have for that. We pitch a lot of ideas on this podcast. This isn't the most creative and honest podcast for nothing. I pitch a lot of ideas on this podcast. Whether you guys agree with the ideas or not is what it is. This is a platform, and I feel like, there's just a lot of ideas that, I have in mind and I want to talk to you guys about and to get, your opinion on what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about all things Survivor Series, War Games. We're talking about Jonathan Coachman, why he thinks Triple H's time is coming to an end. But before we get into this whole War Game situation, the good, the bad, all of that, I want to talk about a report that I seen yesterday, floating around on social media. If you guys don't follow Russell Pierce on social media, give them a follow on Twitter. They put out a interesting tweet, and this kind of caught me off guard. This is a good thing that I'm about to read to you guys, but at the same time, it kind of justifies my viewpoint in regards to why I feel WWE, they pick and choose on who they want to push and who they don't want to push. And I also seen a recent report as well, too, as I'm recording and before I press record, I seen an interesting report regarding NXT, and I'll give you guys my, 2 cents and my opinion on that. But back to this Javon Evans situation. So multiple executives in WWE believe that Javon Evans is not only the present, but the future of WWE. This is a great thing. This is an incredible thing. And as I'm getting comfortable on my seat here, this is a great thing. You know, I am a wrestling fan, a WWE fan who is really wanting to see the future of WWE blossom. There are plenty of people in WWE right now where we sit that are the future. And specifically focusing on the men right now. I'll get to the women in a second because this kind of all ties into this conversation, this conversational topic here. Javon Evans, I feel like, is the future. He has everything. He has the look. He has the charisma. I personally feel like he could be this generation's Rob Van Dam / Jeff Hardy type shit. I think he's great. He had, and he even said it himself that there's pressure. You know, pressure breaks pipes, and you either for it or not. And he said that there was pressure on him to deliver, you know, for the culture. You feel me? If you know, you know. But just deliver for, you know, people who believe in him and people who want to see him thrive and want to see him succeed, like myself. This guy can definitely be, you know, one of the big time players in WWE if presented correctly, if booked correctly. He can do, you know, wonders, you know, for WWE moving forward. And he had a tremendous performance against Gunther. Now, with Gunther, you know, I'm happy he's back. Man, it's so crazy. Gunther got his OG NXT theme back. So I don't know if WWE is specifically letting people who they're, you know, invested in get back their OG theme, but I personally feel like everybody should get their OG theme back. Death Rebel is not it, respectfully to them. They've had some hits here and there, but majority of the time, they ain't good, bro. You know, we got to keep it real on this podcast. They're not that good. And for Gunther to get his old, you know, OG theme back, that was lit. You know what I mean? It was really cool to see. But Javon Evans, man, I honestly think this guy can be the future and present it correctly. He can do wonders. Now, like I said, this report is very interesting because, like I said, it just seems that WWE picks and chooses on who they want to invest their time into and who they don't want to invest their time into. And Javon Evans being one of those people that the WWE wants to invest in, that's a great thing, right? That's a really good thing. But WWE, you guys got to focus on the future. You guys got to focus on the future. And you guys are doing it great for the women. Like I said, I seen a report a couple hours ago before I press record here from the CW Network President of Entertainment, Brad. If I mispronounce his name, my apologies. Brad Sherwood. He says that the women of NXT are better than the men. And I think that is in great emphasis because, let's be real, all right? Shawn Michaels has just been putting a little bit more effort into making the women's division the best in the world, and it has a case for being the best in the world. There's a lot of great talented women in that division. And I think overall as a WWE product, WWE, just from what I see, from my own two eyes, it just seems that WWE is just putting a little bit more effort into establishing and creating new stars for the women's division, and that's great. But I want to specifically focus on the men because, yes, the women are getting a lot of opportunities. Yes, there are a lot of new women superstars that are going to be thrusted into the main event scene, into the world title picture, fighting for the Women's United States Championship, fighting for the women's tag team titles, fighting for the women's intercontinental titles. And you guys all know that I am very opinionated, passionately opinionated about not just the WWE product in general, but if we're just specifically talking about one portion here, the women's division, it's because the people that write these shows for the women, it's that they don't really give them a lot of things to do. Number one. Number two, you have a lot of great, talented women there. I'd be here all night if I just went down the list, but there's a lot of them, right? Coming from NXT, already established on the main roster. You feel me? There's a lot of great, talented women, and it's incredible to see. You know what I mean? People from Evolve coming up to NXT, people from NXT coming up to Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. It's great. WWE is primarily focusing on the women, and that's amazing. But the reality of the situation is where we sit today. WWE is not putting the same effort and attention that they are for the women to the men. And that's a fact. That's a fact. That's just not an opinion. And yes, they are putting effort into the men. But here's a difference. They're not putting effort into a lot of the men like they're doing for the women. Like I said, I can just go down a laundry list of people who WWE are putting a lot of effort and time into from NXT to the main roster. There's a lot of them. But for the men, there's not a lot. Let's keep it P. Right? Let's keep it 100, bro. There's not a lot for the men. And you know what's funny? From a fan's point of view, I personally think there is a lot of great, talented men that the WWE can really utilize and really push. But then you have wrestling fans, or WWE fans, excuse me. You have WWE fans who feel like, oh no, that individual, I don't really see much in him. This person, I don't really see much in him. And you never know until someone is given an opportunity. Let's see if they can sink or swim. You don't know what they can do unless you give them an ample opportunity to go out there and showcase. The problem is WWE does that. Now, here's the truth. Like I said, I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I'm going to keep it P. This is the truth. WWE, yes, they give people opportunities, but it's the opportunities that they picked from. They picked these specific people. So they're going to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until they get it right. And then they're going to tell us, the audience, see, we know what we're doing. See, we're creating stars. Nah, nigga, that's not all it's cracked up to be. Nah, you're right, but you're not at the same time. You're right from the standpoint of you are creating new stars, but the problem is, and where you're not correct is, you're picking and choosing on who you want to push and who you don't want to push. And that's fine. That's expected. I understand that. I'm fully aware of that. Fine, it is what it is. My problem is, how can I pinpoint this person, who can be the future? Who, if not, at least not the number one guy, at least a part of a group of people that you look and you say, you know what, I could trust that person. I could trust that person. We know Braun Breaker is going to be the Roman Reigns, the John Cena of the future of the WWE. We understand that. We're aware that. We know that. Dominic Mysterio, the same thing. Logan Paul, same thing. That's cool. But what about a Carmelo Hayes? What about a Obafemi? What about a Trick Williams? What about a Ricky Saints? What about a Ethan Page? What about, this person and this person? The reality of the situation is WWE does not have WWE does not have a lot of options, is the best word to describe the men in WWE. Because WWE is putting all their eggs in the basket for the women. And that's cool. I'm with that. Give these ladies some shine. Let these women go out there and do business. That's great, man. It really is. But you're losing the core value for the men. Because you're picking and choosing on who you want to push. That's fine. That's expected. Cool. But you're not giving everybody an opportunity. You see what I mean? Like Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Dominic Mysterio. Those are the guys right now in WWE's eyes. You feel me? But you got these other people here that should kind of get the same opportunities, like a Santos Escobar, a Carmelo Hayes, man. You know what I mean? It's so funny that Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker came up at the same time, but WWE is looking at Carmelo Hayes like, nah, you don't really fit the bill, bruh. You don't fit the bill. We're going to go with Braun Breaker. That's cool. That's cool. But respectfully, you leaving Carmelo Hayes in the dirt, and I don't appreciate that, for real. Because he's just as talented or more talented than a Braun Breaker. So I don't know what the problem is here. You know what I mean? But Carmelo Hayes, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Dominic Mysterio, Ethan Page. You feel me? We need to get Montez Ford up there. Montez Ford can do some stuff. You know what I mean? Get Damian Priest back on track. You feel me? There are people. But the problem is I don't know if they have a Roman Reigns. And people keep saying, oh, Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker. Listen. I love Braun Breaker. I think he's great. You know, add Javon Evans, Obafemi to that. Cool. But with this Braun Breaker situation, I love Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker's great. But do you really think he's going to be a Roman Reigns? Do you really think he's going to be a John Cena? Do you really think he's going to be a Cody Rhodes, a Seth Rollins, a CM Punk? Do you really think he's going to be the guy? I don't know. So far, so good. You know what I mean? It's looking good, but you never know what the future holds. You know what I mean? I remember WWE years ago, man. They had John Cena, right? They had Batista. They had Triple H and Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. And then they had Randy Orton. They had Edge. They had Kurt Angle. They had Rey Mysterio. And then you had Carlito and Chris Masters and Mr. Kennedy, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Fit Finlay, JBL. You had a lot of people right in the early 2000s that where if John Cena goes down, you got Randy Orton, you got Edge, you got Batista, you got Undertaker. Undertaker go down, you got Batista, you got Edge, you got Cena, you got Triple H, you got Shawn Michaels, you got multiple people, Kurt Angle. You had multiple people. The problem today that I personally feel like is they don't have a lot of those people. They got CM Punk, they got Roman Reigns, they got Seth Rollins. Cool. That's cool. Cody Rhodes, cool. That's only 4 people, though. That's only 4 people. Right? For the women, it's different. It's different from the standpoint. So, you know, Becky Lynch goes down, you got Roxanne Perez. You got Stephanie Valkyrie. Got Bianca Belair, you got Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair, Bayley. You know, you have multiple people. But for the men, it just feels like one goes down, you don't really have a lot of options. You know what I mean? Outside of John Cena's going to retire, so he don't really count. And they're not really doing nothing with Randy Orton right now. But Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes are kind of the big 4 right now of this generation. Outside of those 4, you don't really have a lot. And you're kind of just focusing on 1 or maybe 2 new stars, and that's WWE's. I personally feel like that's their problem. They need to focus on multiple people. Now, I'm only saying this. I'm not a writer or anything like that. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like I'm pretty educated in what I say. And I bring merit to what I say. But yeah, let's get back to the early 2000s. You know what I mean? Where you had the John Cena, the Undertaker, Batista. You had those dudes, but then you had a Randy Orton, you had an Edge, you had a Kurt Angle, you had a Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, so on and so forth. And then you had guys underneath them. We don't have that. And we got to get back to that. And I understand it's going to take time. But if you're doing it for the women, why can't you do it for the men too? You need to give new people opportunities because you never know what they got. So I'm happy about this report with Javon Evans. I really am. He's a guy that can be a part of the future. He can be with the Braun Breakers, with the Carmelo Hayeses. You know what I mean? He can do his thing. But right now, it just seems that, you know, WWE really isn't prioritizing, you know what I mean, those guys. So it's something that needs to change. And I hope it does. And for NXT to be investing so much in the women is great news, really. And you know, Shawn Michaels really loves the women. He really invests in the women of NXT. Now for the men, it's a little different. You can kind of say the same thing, you know, just roles reversed. You know what I mean? Shawn Michaels is investing in the women. Triple H is actually, no, it's the same thing. Never mind. They're both investing in the women, and that's great. But what about the men? You're not really doing a great job. At least Shawn Michaels is trying. Triple H doesn't really look like he's trying, that often. So it's going to be really interesting to see who's going to be the future. Is it just Braun Breaker? What about these other people? You can't just focus on one or two people or even three people. You need to focus on at least like real talk, like 5 or 6 people. You really need to, because I feel like the future is blank for WWE. When John Cena leaves, when Randy Orton leaves, when Roman Reigns leaves, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, once they leave, and all 4 of them have said, Cody Rhodes, I remember him saying he's going to retire soon. Roman Reigns said the same thing. Seth Rollins said the same thing. CM Punk, same thing. Once these guys retire, I don't know what WWE is going to do. And I'm trying to bring a respect factor to this conversation. But most importantly, I'm trying to bring awareness to it. That WWE, you really need to invest in the stars. And it just seems that maybe WWE does not trust these people outside of a Dominic Mysterio, outside of a Braun Breaker, and outside of select few of people that Triple H picks. You gotta fix that. You gotta fix that. But let me know how y'all feel about it. I know I was talking about this specific topic for a long time, but listen, it's my show. I could do what I want. But let me know, in the comments down below, how y'all feeling about, the future of WWE in terms of some new stars that can be created. Let's talk about War Games. Let's talk about War Games, man. I'm going to be so transparent and brutally honest with each and every one of y'all. Are y'all ready? War Games. Let's start with the concept. Let's start with the War Games concept. We've been going on this for a couple years now. More than 3 years. I am so over this concept. They're not really fighting for much. Supremacy for what? Now, this has been brewing. I will give WWE credit. This has been brewing for months. Since WrestleMania, 41 ended. It's been brewing. Cool. But in terms of, the concept overall, I'm over it. Personally, for me, and it's so funny. It's so funny. There are more and more people speaking up that this concept has ran its course. And I respectfully feel like it has ran its course. Do the men deserve this War Games match? They do, because it's been happening and it's been teasing since WrestleMania ended. Now, respectfully, it seems to me, from my point of view, from following WWE this year, WWE recently started pushing the women's War Games. These women got beef with one another. They've been recently pushing that. And I look at it, and I'm like, I don't really feel like the women deserve to be in War Games. Listen, this is just my opinion. I'm being respectful, okay? I've seen other people say some crazy shit about the women's War Games match. I ain't gonna take it there. You know why? It's not that serious. But respectfully, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't think the women deserve to have War Games. I don't. This should be just a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. And quite frankly, and it's so funny because I have been seeing more people bringing what I'm about to say up. I actually missed the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series. I don't know, Triple H. I don't know what your thought process is every year with War Games, but homie, you gonna have to tone it down, because I feel like the War Games concept is dragged ass. Respectfully, I feel like the War Games concept is not exciting anymore. That's when Hell in a Cell, at one point, Hell in a Cell was just, it wasn't Hell in a Cell, because it was happening every single October. Every October. And it's like, dang. Like, again, bro, none matters. You get one storyline here and there that matters to be inside Hell in a Cell. These other matches, the other two matches inside Hell in a Cell don't really mean shit. But you got that one that does make sense. It's the same shit with the War Games. The men make sense. The women, respectfully, y'all don't make no sense to be in here. Now y'all are putting people who have personal beefs, who have personal problems in here. Now it's not official. For the men, it is official. We know who's exactly going to be in here. But for the women, but if you follow WWE television, you can kind of see who's going to be intertwined here. So I'm going to talk about the women first, and then we're going to get into the men and the lineup and everything like that. So for the women, just logically thinking about everything that has been happening on WWE TV, you got Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Now, there are supposedly a tag team. This just respectfully just proves my point that these women's tag team titles are just so, non-existent and just worthless, quite frankly. Respectfully, But Lash Legend and Nia Jax, a tag team, they don't really make sense because they're friends. I mean, okay, but I don't think that is a justification to really say, you know what? Yeah, they're a real tag team. I don't really see it. But we got Nia Jax and Lash Legend. By the way, speaking of Lash Legend, she a beast, bro. She a beast, bro. Look good, you know what I mean? Raw power, I love it. And I love the way the WWE has been presenting Lash Legend, on Monday Night Raw. So I'm fucking with it heavy. Hopefully they continue with the push of Lash Legend. So far, so good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. But her and Nia Jax as the team, cap. I don't see it. Becky Lynch. So we got Becky Lynch, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. You would think that makes sense, right? Okay. So right off the bat, AJ Lee going to be a part of this, right? And on Monday Night Raw last night, Rhea Rip, see, the problem is sometimes with myself and many, how do I put this, educated WWE fans like myself. We already know what's going to happen majority of the time before it happens, Triple H. Oh, they act like they know what's going to happen before it happens. Yeah, because we do. Respectfully, we do. When AJ Lee was talking, right, after Maxine Dupree, congratulations to her on winning the women's intercontinental title to Becky Lynch. Shout out to Maxine Dupree. She's been working her ass off, putting in the work. So shout out to her, respect. But with AJ Lee, I'm like, man, this girl gonna be in War Games. It's crystal clear. It's obvious. They want to put Becky Lynch in here too. She just lost the title. What is she gonna do? She got to do something. She got to be a part of Survivor Series. You're not gonna leave Becky Lynch off of Survivor Series. So I'm like, man, they gonna have AJ Lee and Becky Lynch in this motherfucker. Nigga, that is exactly what we gonna get. Becky Lynch, you know what I mean? She gonna be a part of War Games. AJ Lee talking about, congratulating Maxine Dupree, and then Rhea Ripley. She came out, mommy came out, and she talked about, AJ Lee, can I talk to you for a second? Nigga, what the fuck you think is happening right there? Come on, bro. War Games is next weekend. Come on, bro. You know exactly what's happening. So, we got AJ Lee, which means we're going to get Becky Lynch. So, that's obvious. It's cool. And then we got the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, Becky Lynch, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax versus the team of AJ Lee, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, which they're going to be a part of this, Rhea Ripley, and obviously Io Sky. This has potential to be really good. It really does, and the combustible elements and the combustible stories that I hope we start seeing after War Games with some of these stories. Lash legend Nia Jax might want to go after the women's tag team titles. The Kabuki Warriors might want to go after the tag team titles. You got Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are the current champs. I believe they're the current champs. And then you got Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I wonder what they're doing with Io and Rhea. They kind of seem like they don't know where to put these ladies. Put them with the tag team titles. Kabuki Warriors, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax, Lash Legend, I feel like can be a good little feud for the women's tag team titles. Maybe one team loses and the other team actually wins. All going after the women's tag team titles, you need something. So me continuously bitching and moaning about it ain't gonna happen no more. It's worthless. They're keeping it. It is what it is. Let's just talk about, the women's tag team titles. So that being a little feud would be pretty interesting. Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Kabuki Warriors, the champions, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and then Rhea Ripley and Io Sky right now. And I understand it. I know. Oh, I don't want Rhea Ripley and I don't want Io Sky to be a part of this. This is beneath them. Bro, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are in this as well, too, as the tag team champions. They're a part of the tag team division. So if it's beneath Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, this is definitely beneath, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka and Kairi Sane. And Nia Jax even as well, too. It's beneath these women, too. But you need a division. You need to push it as a credible division. Even though some of these teams don't make sense, you still got to push it. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, it's interesting because I thought, and I had this assumption and this mindset, this is where WWE, got your ass. All right, WWE is what it is. Hopefully you know what you're doing. You feel me? I don't take offense to it. You feel me? I don't take offense to it at all. I say one thing, WWE does something else. We all say something, WWE does something else. I don't care about that. As long as it's good for television and it's getting my interest, I don't give a fuck if I'm right or not. I don't care, bro. But I thought we were going to get Becky Lynch and AJ Lee over the women's Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. And that'd be saved for WrestleMania. Because we haven't gotten that one-on-one match yet. So I'm interested to see how that's going to happen. Now, speaking of the Women's Intercontinental Championship, is Maxine Dupree going to hold it for a little bit? And who is she going to lose to? I don't want to go on a tangent with this specific topic. I kind of want to keep it short and sweet to the point. Why do I feel like... See, this is interesting. How long is Maxine Dupree going to have the title for? Number one. Number two. Is AJ Lee going to take the title off of Maxine Dupree? And also, from a storyline standpoint, why would AJ Lee win the Women's Intercontinental title without interference from Becky Lynch? Why would Becky Lynch just sit there and just like, you know what, AJ Lee? Win the title. Unless she wants the title back, which makes sense. If Becky doesn't want to do nothing about it, she wants that title. Cool. You know what I mean? AJ Lee wins it. We get a feud between Becky Lynch and AJ Lee over the Women's Intercontinental title, and we keep it moving. But from a storyline standpoint, that don't make no lick of sense, bro. You know what I mean? That don't make no lick of sense if you really want to think about it. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. I'm very curious, you know what I mean, to see how things are going to transpire, how things are going to go moving forward, because I feel like with that specific feud, I just thought that they were going to fight over the Women's Intercontinental title. And I don't know. Right now, it doesn't look like it. But I won't be surprised if Maxine Dupree respectfully holds it for a little bit she gets her shine, and either AJ Lee wins the title or Becky Lynch gets the title back. And we go on to our regular, scheduled potential WrestleMania match between Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. Even though I did see a report earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, that WWE is rumored there are 2 opponents for Stephanie Vaquer. And like I said, I'm going to kill this right now. There is a report on 2 opponents for Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania 42. Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. Okay. Me personally, it needs to be Rhea Ripley. You've continued to tease on and on and on again. You keep doing it. You know what I mean? You got to pull the trigger at some point. If that's Rhea Ripley winning the women's money, the Royal Rumble, or the women's elimination chamber, I don't care. As long as she wins one of that, we need Vaquer versus Ripley at WrestleMania. That is the biggest women's match that you can do. Yes, Becky Lynch and Stephanie Vaquer. It's going to cook too. And that is a big-time women's match, but I think Rhea Ripley and Vaquer needs to happen. Like, that needs to be the plan. And then I would book AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the women's IC title. Personally, for me, I would have AJ Lee chase that women's intercontinental title. I would have Becky Lynch come back and screw over, AJ Lee. Maybe she gets maybe she gets an opportunity and loses, whatever. You know what? Forget I just said that. Becky Lynch gets her rematch and she beats Maxine Dupree and she takes the title. And they have one more match. They have one more match after that. And then Becky wins. I would have AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the women's intercontinental title and have AJ Lee chase that title all the way to WrestleMania and have AJ Lee be crowned as the new women's intercontinental title. That's just me. Or you want Vaquer and you want Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Bet. Cool. Fine. Let's see if we get that match at WrestleMania. All right. Rhea Ripley. What the fuck? What's going to happen? Her and Io will probably be a tag team, and they'll go after the women's tag team titles. Don't be surprised. That's number 2. Number 3. We get Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania for the women's world title in a triple threat match. Why? Because Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch are the last 2 women in the women's Royal Rumble, and I have always said this over the years, and WWE just never did it. We are going to do a similar Dave Bautista, John Cena, and I think years before that, we had 2 guys eliminate each other at the same time, and we had double wins. Now, the thing with Batista and John Cena, they restarted the match, and the Batista ultimately won. But take that, apply that at Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, and both women are the winners, and then they both choose Stephanie Vaquer, and we got a triple threat match, which I hope that does not happen. If it does happen, I wouldn't be surprised. But for me, I would do Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer for the women's world title, and then AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the women's intercontinental title. You got to think smart. You got to think about the overall card and, the best matches from night 1, the best matches for night 2. Those are perfect. Those are perfect, man. Trust me. But let me know how y'all feeling about that whole idea. The women's War Games match. The storylines coming out of that. Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, of course. And then Nia Jax, Lash Legend. Asuka, Kairi Sane, Rhea Ripley, and Io are probably going to become a tag team. Do not be surprised about that. And then they're all going to want to go after Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair for the women's tag team titles. Do not be surprised if that happens. And to be honest, it'd be pretty cool to see a TLC match between, all 4 of those women. And then you got AJ Lee and Becky Lynch in a feud together separately. So I'm curious to see how that's going to transpire. There's a lot of story progression with AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. And then you got, the 4 the 4 women that I believe will be in the tag team division and going out to the women's tag team titles. Again, do not be surprised if Rhea Ripley and Io Sky become a tag team. I did not want that at first, but to get some juice within this division, it kind of makes sense. But at least they'll do something for right now. You know what I mean? And then when we get to the Royal Rumble, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley are probably going to be in contention to win the Women's Royal Rumble. So we'll see what happens with the Women's War Games match. It's going to be pretty interesting. Stephanie Valkyr, speaking of Ms. Devil herself. Stephanie Valkyr and Nikki Bella. This is people are pretty upset about this. Listen. I know for a fact, for a fucking fact, I mean like super fact, that not a lot of people like Nikki Bella. They don't. And I'm aware of that. And it is what it is. I'm not the biggest Nikki Bella fan. I'm not, but if I have to choose between Nikki Bella and Brie Bella, I'm always going to choose Nikki Bella. Now, people are running with, why is this match on Survivor Series? Y'all niggas got to understand something, bro. Come on, man. They need matches on Survivor Series, right? This storyline has been going on for a couple weeks now, right? Why would you have this match on Monday Night Raw? And also, too, why are people complaining? Oh, Nikki Bella's going to take the title off of Stephanie Valkyr. I don't think so, but I wouldn't bypass WWE to do that. And to give Nikki Bella one run with the belt, her last run, and she does her thing as a heel. Now, I feel like her heel run so far, I can't really judge it because it just started, but from what I see, her heel turn seems kind of forced to me. She doesn't genuinely seem like a bad person, like a bad guy. You feel me? So it's hard to find that lining with Nikki Bella as a heel. You look at Jade Cargill, she could be a heel. Her confidence, her arrogance, her swagger, her narcissistic. You know what I mean? Her attitude. You feel me? So if she can pull off a heel, I don't think Nikki Bella can pull it off that well. Now, I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully she pulls it out. Hopefully she takes bits and pieces of former great heels over the years and applies it to her. That promo with that she did with Stephanie Valkyr after beating her ass on Monday Night Raw, I didn't believe a lick of word she said. I really didn't. So she's gonna have to do a little bit more respectfully. But I think this match can be pretty good. I really think this match can be pretty good. Now, Valkyr hopefully does not. My bad, y'all. My bad. Little buffer here and there, but we back in business. Yeah, hopefully Valkyr does not lose that title. I don't think she's gonna lose the title, but you never know. This is WWE. I mean, Becky Lynch just lost the Women's Intercontinental title, so I wouldn't be surprised. They would have to do something to a point where it's believable for Nikki Bella to beat Stephanie Valkyr. Now, I'm going to pitch an idea. I don't want this to happen, by the way, okay? I want Valkyr to retain. But what if Nikki Bella cheats and beats Stephanie Valkyr because of Brie Bella coming in and interfering in the match? It's possible. It's really, really possible that Brie Bella can make a return and help her sister capture the Women's World title by defeating Stephanie Valkyr. She does that, swear to God. I swear to God, man, people are going to lose their shit. People are going to be so pissed if that happens. I don't think it's going to happen, but anything's possible in WWE. But just imagine the reaction in the live crowd and on social media. You know, people going to be going crazy. They're going to go crazy for that shit. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So, well, we'll see. That's going to be That's going to be real interesting to see how that's going, you know what I mean, going to transpire. But we'll see what happens with it. So I don't think Bella is going to win, but it is possible that she could defeat Stephanie Valkyrie. I got to bring in all variables to the table. But like I said, so far, Nikki Bella's heel run has not been good. I don't think from a promo standpoint, she's good as a heel. It doesn't come off genuine to me. It comes off forced. But respectfully, that's just my personal opinion. But let me know how y'all feeling about it. Let's get into John Cena. And then we're going to get into the men's war games. And then we're going to get up out of here. But before we get into one of the greatest of all time, I appreciate everybody tapping into the Wrestling Takeover podcast. It's the most creative and honest podcast in the wrestling space. Y'all know what it is, man. Please support me, man, on YouTube. YouTube.com/JTTakeover. Spread the word of the Wrestling Takeover podcast. Word of mouth does go a long way, man. Subscribe to the channel, man. That's most important. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. YouTube.com/JTTakeover. Leave me a comment down below what y'all think about the state of the WWE. Let me know on anything WWE, man. Any videos you want me to make, let me know in the comments. I will be responding to them. Social media, follow me on social media on Twitter at JTTakeover and on IG at the Wrestling Takeover Podcast, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much. Let's get into John Cena, man. One of the greatest of all time. He's not my greatest of all time, but he's one of the greatest, of all time. No cap, bro. I'm going to be pretty sad when he retires. Ain't going to lie to y'all, man. Me and my homies were talking about it at work today, man, and we can't believe that the homie going to be retiring, bro. It's pretty nuts if you really think about it. He's the Intercontinental Champ. He will be going one-on-one with Dominic Mysterio. And is Dominic Mysterio going to beat John Cena for the IC title? I'm not going to lie. I actually hope it happens because people are saying Gunther is going to beat John Cena and take the IC title. And John Cena is going to put over Gunther. Listen, I love Gunther. I am so happy that Gunther has his WWE OG NXT UK NXT theme back. I'm happy for him. I love that shit. But nigga, no. Bro, no. I don't want Gunther to beat John Cena and take the IC title. I don't mind Gunther versus John Cena, but having him be for the IC title, come on, man. I ain't with that. Now, because I personally feel Gunther doesn't need it. I feel Gunther is going to go backwards if he wins the Intercontinental title. That's my stance on it. I feel if Gunther wins the Intercontinental title from John Cena, he's going to go backwards. We got to push Gunther forward, not backwards. But Gunther is a big name to win the tournament. Now, for me personally, yes, Gunther is a star, but he's not a superstar to the masses. So this tournament, I feel, can do Gunther wonders. He beat Goldberg. You retire that fool. What if he beats John Cena and retires him? You're going to have to call Gunther this generation legend killer, bro. You're going to have to call Gunther this generation legend killer, bro. Shout out to Randy Orton. Shout out to one of the greatest of all time himself. Hey, man, Gunther beats John Cena. Gunther beat Goldberg. Gunther is the new generation, apex predator, legend killer, man. But I personally feel Gunther does not need the Intercontinental title. I personally feel that should go to someone new. You know what I mean? Now, Javon Evans just lose. He just lost, so he's out of it. I would really consider giving that win to Carmelo Hayes, man. To create a new star. You're doing it with Braun Breaker. Do it with Carmelo Hayes. I think it would just, I'm a fan of Carmelo Hayes. Yeah, I'm pushing for it. But listen, you got to do something with Melo, bro. You got to do something with Melo. You got to, bro. He needs to be a part of that discussion as, part of the future of the WWE. And a tournament win to advance potentially to the finals to face John Cena in his last match and John Cena putting over the future would be picture perfect for the WWE. It'd be picture perfect. It would be like, it would be so easy to do. that I don't think WWE gonna do it. That's how easy it is. You get me? But I won't be surprised if it's Gunther. It's probably gonna be Gunther, and I'm okay with it because I love Gunther. But at the same time, I'm just gonna say pretty much like, yo, Gunther don't need it. Like, you don't need the IC title. What is you doing? I mean, respectfully, but yeah, I would go with Carmelo Hayes personally. I don't think Bronson Reed needs to win this. He's perfectly fine. He's with Paul Heyman. Why does Bronson Reed need this? He don't need it. Carmelo Hayes needs it. Gunther does not need it. Javon Evans needed it. But Carmelo Hayes, he needs this. This nigga got nothing going on right now. He needs this win. And I hope he gets it. But I won't be surprised if the Miz screws him over and we do some bullshit with that, man. It is what it is, bro. I'm not writing for WWE, so I wish I was, but it is what it is. I would go with Carmelo Hayes, but I'm too smart to the game, bro. I hope I'm right and they go with Carmelo Hayes, but I don't know. I just think they're gonna go with Gunther, and it is what it is. Now, maybe John Cena doesn't have the Intercontinental title, and he just has a singles match, and Gunther wins there. Cool. If it's a singles match and there's no title on the line and it is Carmelo Hayes, it doesn't matter if it's for the title or not. Carmelo Hayes needs that win. Now, if there's no title on the line, does Gunther need the win? No, but it will boost his mystique if he beat John Cena. So we'll see. We'll see, man. This is interesting because John Cena recently has been continuing to praise Dominic Mysterio. I would personally... This is tough because a part of me wants John Cena to go out and lose the Intercontinental title on his back and lose it to a new up-and-coming star. Another part of me wants a feud between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. Or Finn Balor screws over Dominic Mysterio and we get a feud that way for the not for the Intercontinental title, but just in a singles feud. I don't know. A part of me thinks that Dominic Mysterio was going to get that title back. But if he doesn't, Rey Mysterio can cost him the match or Finn Balor can cost him the match. We got to bring every variable to the table, man. If we don't do it, I ain't doing my job. So it's going to be real interesting to see what John Cena does, man. He's retiring. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. It's going to be emotional for sure. Let's talk about the men's War Games match, and then we're going to end it with the Jonathan Coachman talk. Give you guys my quick opinions on that. I'll give you guys my quick opinions on the official team for the men's War Games match. We already know what's going to happen. We already know who's going to be on the teams. So let's break it down. Let's talk about it. We got Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, or Brock Lesnar, excuse me, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre got beef with CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. And Jey Uso. Brock Lesnar got beef with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and the Usos. Braun Breaker, or Brock Lesnar, excuse me, had the beef. How I got Brock Lesnar and Braun Breaker mixed up is crazy. Brock Lesnar has beef with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and the Usos. Braun Breaker has beef with the Usos, Roman Reigns, and a little with CM Punk. So this is interesting. Logan Paul, he got beat with Roman, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and the Usos as well, too. So this is a stacked War Games match. Now, this War Games match is more needed than the women, respectfully, but it is what it is. We're here where we're at. The feuds that I think are going to come out of this is interesting to me. Because this is just me. I feel like the Usos need to get back together. They need to become a team again. Roman and CM Punk can start something of a friction there. I could see that happening. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre are going to continue their beef. And then Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul can get into it, have their little thing. So the storylines coming out of the men's War Games match and the women's is going to be very, very telling. Who's going to turn on who? Or who's going to accidentally cost who. It's going to be really fascinating to see. And I just can't wait to watch it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And yeah, this doesn't really feel like War Games to me because I feel like the concept is kind of like I feel like it's died out a little bit, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see how things transpired. So it's gonna be interesting. So let's see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody tuning in to the Wrestling Takeover podcast. Thank y'all so much, man. Until next time, this is the Wrestling Takeover podcast, and this is the official state of the WWE, and I'm your host, Jordan Turner. You'll have a good one.